It all started for me on October 26th, 1969, the day the doctor plucked me from my mother's womb like it was starting a lawnmower. Rip! And there I was, dangling upside down by my ankles when my little engine sputtered to life after he slapped me across my lily white naked backside and sent me into the big old game of life like he was some football coach or something. Get in there, Hittle, and for God's sake, don't fumble the damn ball. That's when it all started, the influence of my own kind trying to sell me whatever it was they had to sell to me to put food on their own tables. And it started so innocently at first, a simple diaper, but not just any diaper, oh no, a Huggies diaper. And do you know why? Because like the ad says, Huggies are made for unstoppable babies, okay? Look, Mom, no leaks. And the influence just grew and grew. In fact, by the time I was just 5 years old, virtually all of my candy purchases were based almost exclusively on catchy jingles and slogans. Oh, the many wonderfully important lessons of youth, like learning that there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's peanut butter cup. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. It's crazy, I know, but sometimes you feel like a nut. And sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, Mounds don't. Crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery, nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger. But Snickers really satisfies. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I don't know. But I do know that Dentine gum cleans your teeth while it cleans your breath, and that 4 out of 5 dentists recommend Trident sugarless gum for their patients who chew gum. But I wanted to double my pleasure and double my fun. So that's why I chewed double mint gum. Skittles, taste the rainbow. York peppermint patty, taste the sensation. But if you want to taste the milk chocolate that melts in your mouth and not in your hands, then you should eat M&Ms. But beware of the green ones, they'll make you horny. Okay, that last bit might be a little bit of urban legend, I'm not sure. But anyway, there I was growing up in a marketing blitzkrieg, a veritable firestorm of messages delivered by the likes of green giants, talking cats and dogs, dolphins, leprechauns, elves, even singing raisins and dancing peanuts. But to whom should I listen? Frankenberry or Count Chocula? The Trix Rabbit or Tony the Tiger? Captain Crunch, he is a captain after all. Or Snap, Crackle, and Pop? Boo Berry or Toucan Sam? They all had something to tell me because they all had something to sell me. But the burning question on my mind was simple. Got milk? Because there was no way I was eating dry cereal. And I only buy milk, by the way, that comes from California. And do you know why? Because happy cows come from California. And the last thing I want to do is buy unhappy milk. Okay? Wow, it was just all too crazy. By the mid-1980s, I found myself a very confused teenager, living out my days in the war-torn United States of America. You remember those dark years? The cola wars were raging. Pepsi was the choice of a new generation, but you could have a Coke and a smile. Yeah. I didn't have much money back then. Funny how some things never change. But I did have a burning desire to buy the world a Coke and teach it how to sing, even though I'm practically tone deaf. Or maybe I'd buy the world a Diet Coke, you know, just for the taste of it, because I'm a pepper. He's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Do the do. Wow, I could have had a V8. But that's why I drink 7-Up, because it's the uncola. But it's not uncool. But nowadays, I drink Red Bull, because Red Bull gives you wings. And if you have wings, then you can fly. And if you want to fly, you should fly Delta Airlines, because they love to fly and it shows. Or maybe you should fly American. Fly the friendly skies all the way to Vegas, because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And if you get there late, you should stay at Motel 6, because they'll leave a light on for you. Just make sure that you book it all through Priceline.com and name your own price. And you should always use your Capital One Venture card, because you'll earn double miles on every purchase. What's that? You don't have a Capital One Venture card? Well, that's okay, because Visa is everywhere you want to be. But perhaps no place you can afford to be. And if that's the case, then it pays to Discover. You know, the card that pays you back. You know, there are some things that money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. American Express, don't leave home without it. You know, I'm being a bit presumptuous. Maybe you don't like to fly. Then you should drive. Have you driven a Ford lately? They're built Ford tough. But Chevy is like a rock, and you can see the USA in your Chevrolet, including Vegas. But wouldn't you really rather have a Buick? Hey, this is not your father's Oldsmobile. It's a Subaru. It's inexpensive and built to stay that way. But it's not the ultimate driving machine. Oh no, that's a BMW. But nothing runs like a deer. But that's a tractor. And you can't really drive a tractor to Vegas, can you? Okay, well, maybe you can. But just make sure you have Michelins because so much is riding on your tires. And make sure that you have insurance too, because like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. But they won't be there if you don't have their insurance. Hey, you're in good hands with Allstate. But the one simple question you have to ask yourself is this: could 15 minutes really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Do woodchucks chuck wood? Hey, it's so easy a caveman could do it. You know, people ask me all the time, Jody, are you in advertising? And I say no, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. It's maddening, all of it. Everywhere you turn, somebody is trying to tell you something. By the way, my books will be available for purchase after TEDx. So for all you do, this Bud's for you, because after all, Budweiser is the king of beers, but Coors is frost brewed with pure Rocky Mountain spring water. And Old Milwaukee, by the way, tastes as great as its name, which is probably why it doesn't taste very good. Hey, listen, I don't always drink beer. But when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. And I don't even know why. You know, I'm totally confused. I thought that Australians spoke English, but then I found out that Foster's is Australian for beer. Who knew? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I was struggling to come up with something relevant to today's theme of latitudes, but then I remembered, thanks to my good amigos at Corona, you know, La Cerveza Más Fina, that the best way to change your whole attitude is to change your whole latitude. So kick back, relax, enjoy the rest of the presentations. Cheers, TEDx.